A stranger walked up to one of the Brown kids, smiled, and said, "I hate your father." And that moment might explain everything happening in this family right now. Because here's the truth no one is really saying out loud. This isn't just about Meri dating again, or Janelle building a farm, or Christine launching another website. It's about what happens after the cameras stop rolling. When the applause fades, when the anger sticks to the kids, in February 2026, it didn't just give us updates. It exposed emotional aftershocks. Let's start with Meri, but not the way everyone else is. Everyone's focused on Ron, speed dating. Have you seen him? He's cute. Vegas karaoke nights, paint events, Friday live streams. On the surface, it looks light, playful, almost teenage. But watch closely. Meri isn't just flirting, she's reclaiming oxygen. After decades of sharing a husband, sharing validation, sharing rejection, she's testing what it feels like to be chosen, even if she won't say it that way. And here's where it gets interesting. She defended Janelle recently, publicly. That might seem small, but it's not. For years, fans painted these women as rivals, competitive, passive-aggressive, strategic. But when Meri said, essentially, you don't see the full story, stop attacking her, that wasn't about PR. That was about understanding what it feels like to be misunderstood by millions. And here's the quiet tension. She didn't say that about Robin. Why? Loyalty doesn't disappear overnight. It shifts. It narrows. And sometimes it chooses who deserves protection. But here's the question no one's asking. If Meri is glowing, posting empowerment quotes, attending singles events, why does it still feel like she's proving something? We're on the next chapter? Or is he just proof she can still turn a page? Hold that thought. Because Janelle's transformation might be even more complicated. Janelle says she's free, spiritually released, no ties to Kody, no ties to Coyote Pass, North Carolina, land, farm projects. Farm projects. Second chapter coaching. And I'll be honest, the name alone tells you everything. Second chapter, not revenge, not recovery, not escape. Chapter, that means the first one mattered. And if you've ever left something that defined half your life, you know freedom doesn't always feel light. Sometimes it feels quiet. Sometimes it feels like standing alone on land you bought, wondering who you are without the chaos. Her Instagram is filled with empowerment messaging, confidence, transition, growth. But here's what fascinates me. When people start coaching others on transformation, it usually means they're still transforming. And that's not shade, that's human. But the deeper question is this: are these women thriving? Or are they still proving they survived? Because those are not the same thing, and while the wives are building brands and businesses, the kids are carrying something heavier. Peed on. Peyton had a fan approach him. Recognition. Smile. Then, I hate your father. Imagine that. Not reading it online, not scrolling past it. Standing there, smooth, in public, having to absorb someone else's anger about your dad. He didn't defend Kody publicly. He didn't attack him either. He just said it didn't feel good. That sentence tells you everything. Because no matter how messy the adults get, for the kids, it's still dad. And this is where the show shifts. The real tension isn't between ex-wives anymore. It's between public narrative and private loyalty. And that fracture, that's harder to film. But then there's McKelty, and this might be the most quietly explosive revelation of the month. She admitted, before Tony, she had a polygamous family picked out. Not casually. Seriously. She wasn't even opposed to joining plural marriage in the early years of her marriage. Let that sink in. After growing up inside the chaos, after watching fractures form, part of her still considered repeating the cycle. That's not hypocrisy. That's imprinting. When something defines your childhood, it doesn't just disappear. It becomes your blueprint until you rewrite it. Tony said no. And now, looking back, they call it a good decision. But here's the uncomfortable thought. How many of the Brown kids are still untangling what love looks like? How many are rebuilding definitions they inherited? And if the show continues, is it really about plural marriage anymore? Or is it about generational aftermath? We haven't even touched Leon's new male club. Art, poetry, queer community. That's not random. That's identity creation. When your childhood was televised, you learned to build something that belongs only to you. And snail mail, that's intimate. Intentional. Slow. The opposite of reality TV chaos. That choice feels symbolic, almost like saying, "You watched me grow up. Now I choose what you see." And here's the tension building underneath all of this. Christine launches a polished website. Cameos, recipes, Airbnbs. Still filming. The machine continues. But the emotional center of the show? It's shifting toward the kids, toward what happens when reality television becomes family history. And the biggest question hanging over all of it is this: are we watching empowerment, or are we watching a family learning how to exist after fracture? Because those are two very different endings, and I'm not sure we know which one we're heading toward yet. Because here's what nobody wants to admit: the plural marriage story might be over, but the emotional consequences? They're just getting started. Let's talk about Christine for a second. On the surface, she looks settled. New marriage. Lasagna videos, centralized website, cameos, business, links, Airbnbs. It's polished, organized, intentional. But there's something subtle happening here. Christine isn't just a moving on, she's consolidating. When someone builds a hub for their life like that, it's usually because they're done scattering pieces of themselves across other people's chaos. She's building a controlled narrative. And yes, she says filming is still happening. But filming what exactly? Because the original premise, one husband, 4 wives, one evolving dynamic, is gone. Now we have 4 women on 4 different emotional timelines. That's not plural marriage. That's parallel recovery, and recovery doesn't move at the same speed for everyone. Now let's go back to that moment. "I hate your father." That sentence lingers for a reason. Because here's the thing about public divorces. Fans think they're picking sides in a storyline. But the kids don't get to log out of it. For viewers, Kody is a character. For Pedon, he's complicated. Flawed, maybe hurtful, maybe distant, but still, Dad. And imagine the psychological whiplash of growing up on television where your parents' arguments trend. Your family fractures become memes. Strangers feel entitled to speak on your bloodline. That's not normal. That's inherited public pressure. And if the show continues focusing on the Brown kids, we are no longer watching a marriage experiment. We are watching generational processing in real time. That's heavier, and honestly, more real. Now here's the question that changes everything. Is the audience ready for that? Because empowerment arcs are easy to cheer for. Glow-ups, dating again, building farms, launching coaching businesses. We love reinvention stories. But healing isn't aesthetic. It's messy. It includes moments like considering the same lifestyle you grew up questioning, like McKelty did. And that detail matters more than people realize. Because when she said she had a polygamous family picked out, that wasn't rebellion. That was familiarity. We are drawn to what shaped us. Even when it hurt us, the fact that she paused, reconsidered, and ultimately didn't step into it, that's growth. But growth that required interruption. And how many other patterns in this family still need interruption? Let's zoom out. Meri dating. Janelle coaching. Christine branding. Leon creating art. The kids speaking carefully. You could frame this as, they're thriving. And maybe they are. But you could also frame it as, they're rebuilding identity after collective disillusionment. And that's deeper. Because when you leave a belief system, whether it's religious, relational, or cultural, you don't just leave a person, you leave structure. And structure, even flawed structure, feels safe. So, February 2026 isn't just a casual update month. It's proof that every member of this family is negotiating. Who am I without the original blueprint? Now here's the unresolved tension. If TLC leans into the Brown kids, if the show shifts towards second-generation narratives, are we about to see a healthier evolution? Or are we about to witness the pressure simply relocate? Because the tension doesn't disappear. It transfers, and the kids didn't sign up for plural marriage. They inherited it. Just like they inherited public opinion. So, is Sister Wives ending? Or is it mutating into something more honest? Because the old format, wives competing for one man, is done. What's left is co-parenting wounds, adult children navigating loyalty, women redefining autonomy, and a patriarch whose legacy is now being interpreted instead of obeyed. That's not sizzling out. That's transforming. But transformation isn't comfortable to watch. It forces us to confront something. If this family can unravel publicly, what about our own patterns behind closed doors? That's why people are still watching. Not for polygamy. For proof that leaving something complicated doesn't make you weak. It makes you unfinished. And here's the emotional loop we opened at the beginning. That stranger who said, "I hate your father," that moment is the new center of gravity because it shows the shift. The wives are no longer absorbing the public heat. The kids are. And if this show wants to survive another chapter, it has to decide. Will it protect them or profit from them? That's the real cliffhanger. Now I want to hear from you. If you were one of the Brown kids, how would you handle strangers criticizing your parent to your face? And do you think this show should pivot toward the kids' lives, or is that crossing a line? I'm genuinely curious where you stand, because this next phase isn't just about ratings. It's about legacy. And legacies echo longer than episodes.